Hey YouTube, Wes here, checking in with another episode of the Vinyl Survivor. Hope everyone's doing well, having a great day, a great night, whenever it is you're watching this. Hope you're doing well. Just wanted to get another episode of the Vinyl Survivor in here. I got my vinyl inbox for June coming up soon. Wanted to get another Vinyl Survivor done, so let's go ahead and get into it. First thing want to talk about is thanks to DJ Trish, sent another nice VCLT package out to me. She included the 2016 edition of the Jersey Shore Vacation Guide. Thank you very much to Trish for that. You can sort of thumb through there, and I like looking at the photos and stuff since I'm interested in photography, and sort of travel documentary style photography is something that I'm really passionate about, something I want to eventually move into doing more of. So it's cool to see the photos used in this guide to sort of advertise different destinations and different places to stay and things to visit and things to see. So that's really cool. So thank you for that, Trish. I'll enjoy thumbing through that. I've already looked through it a bit last night. And then, of course, in DJ Trish fashion, she sent out 2 new mixes for me, or for us to listen to. This is Back to the Beach Parts 1 and 2. So thank you for those. As usual, quite a varied mixture. Great stuff, as always. We've been listening to the last 2 mixes she sent to us when we went to St. Augustine for the fireworks this past weekend. And to have some fun, get away from town a little bit. Enjoyed listening to those on the trip to there and back. So thank you. It's always great to have new mixes from Trish, and I have a you can't really see them. There's some boxes up here that I have CDs in, and I have a special section just for DJ Trish mixes. So it's really cool to sort of revisit those and pull them out and have a nice collection of mixes from Trish. So thank you, Trish, for that. So let's go ahead and get into this episode of the Vinyl Survivor. I think we're 119, 120, somewhere around there. Not quite sure. Just sort of winging these. The first thing I have to talk about is an album from the Pat Travers Band. This is titled Crash and Burn. This was released in 1980. Pat Travers Band, kind of a hard rock kind of sound. And I didn't like this. I had high hopes for this. I thought this would be something I would like a little more. I thought it was going to be really jammy, bluesy rock kind of stuff. But it just turned out to be more of like just a typical hard rock. It almost sounds like a band you would hear in like a bar somewhere, a bar band kind of sound to me. They even do some covers on here, Born Under a Bad Sign. Yeah, so I can't really recommend this one at all. Just it wasn't for me, definitely. This is on the Polydor Red Label. Pat Travers Band, Crash and Burn, another 20-cent Goodwill find, but one that is not staying in the collection. Just I didn't enjoy it. All right, moving on, another 20-cent Goodwill find, but this time something I do like, and that is Warren Zevon's classic Excitable Boy, 1978 on this one. This one, of course, features the hit Werewolves of London on it. Just a killer album from Warren Zevon. I'm a big fan of Warren Zevon's sort of. He takes sort of a comedic approach to songwriting, along the lines of maybe like a Randy Newman or even maybe a Frank Zappa kind of thing. Just really cool, funny songs, and really enjoy that. So this is a classic one, you know. As I said, Werewolves of London on here. Roland the Headless Thompson Gunner, Lawyers, Guns, and Money. Just, yeah, great. I love this to death. Definitely a favorite of mine. Here is the inner sleeve with this one. And then get some lyrics as well. And it's on the Asylum Records label. So yeah, Warren Zevon, Excitable Boy. Really liked it a lot, really enjoyed this one, and definitely one that will be staying in the collection. Alright, next thing I got to talk about is a soundtrack here from the 80s. This is from 1980. This is the soundtrack to the Blues Brothers movie. Of course, a classic here. Not much needs to be said about this. a classic, something I definitely do want to have in my collection, and finally bought this a while back and finally got around to cleaning it up, giving it a spin, and thoroughly enjoyed it. You know all these songs well. You've seen the movie a million times probably if you're like me. Yeah, maybe the Moocher theme from Rawhide, Shake a Tail Feather, just classic songs from the movie. So glad to have this now, or glad to have finally officially given it a thorough listen and have a nice one for the collection. And that is on the Atlantic Records label. I think this was a record show find. I picked this up for, I don't know, $2 maybe, $3. But just a nice copy to have. So the Blues Brothers soundtrack staying in the collection. Okay, moving on. This is a later album from the group The Mamas and the Papas. This is titled People Like Us. I think this may have been their last album for quite a while. This is from 71, looks like. I wasn't sure what to expect from this. Not any really recognizable song titles on here. And I was quite disappointed in this album. It just seems like their heart wasn't in it. It seems like they were just sort of covering these songs. They didn't really have any kind of emotional connection with these songs. They were really, it was really disappointing to listen to this. I was hopeful to find some new Mamas and the Papas stuff, sort of something to appreciate, but unfortunately, their heart wasn't in it at this point, and it shows through and through in the music, and it's just kind of boring to listen to. I really like the cover on this. It's got a nice sort of matte cover. I like how it's laid out. I like the back there with the photos. Unfortunately, the music is just not there. This one does come with a printed lyric sheet, just on a 8.5 by 11, kind of odd for an insert like that. And they, of course, on the ABC Dunhill label. Yeah, so sadly, the Mamas and the Papas, People Like Us, it's just not a keeper for me. Not something I'm going to. I'm not going to keep around. Don't need to hear it again. Sadly, it just was disappointing for me. Okay, next up I have an album from Randy Newman. This is titled Good Old Boys from 1974. I know this is a favorite of Chris over at Dixieland Farms. This one has Rednecks on it, Birmingham. Just some very... I find this album sort of like a Stephen Colbert Report kind of take on... It's sort of a parody album, but he plays it really straight, which is something that just is a turnoff for me. I was not a fan of the Colbert Report. It's just too much like the real thing to be funny to me, kind of thing, if that makes any sense. I don't like those sort of straight parodies. I like more of a, I don't know, almost a slapstick parody that's more obvious in your face that it's a parody rather than just playing it straight. It's just too much like the real thing for me. So that was kind of what I got from this, is that he's making fun of this stuff, and making fun of, racists and stuff like that, but it's too much like the real thing to be funny to me, if that makes any sense. So I just don't dig this at all. I tried it a few times and just couldn't get into it. It's not for me. And that is on the Reprise label. So yeah, unfortunately, I'm more appreciative of Randy Newman's sort of Disney film kind of music and that more fun stuff. I like he's a great musician. He's a great songwriter, of course. Writes just some amazing songs. But yeah, the Good Old Boys album, just not something for me. So unfortunately, not going to be keeping this one. All right, next thing I got to talk about here is another 80s soundtrack. This is a soundtrack to the classic movie Twins with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito. You got Yakety Yak on here. but it's covered by the Two Live Crew, which is really funny. You got Philip Bailey and Little Richard doing the title track. You got the Spinners on here. Randy Edelman, Jeff Beck, and Herbie Hancock, and is on here as well. Just a fun way to sort of relive the movie in a soundtrack form, and enjoyed hearing this and hearing some of these songs again. And a great movie. I love this movie. And this is just on a sort of a white label, even though it's not a promo. It's a promo, but it's not, I don't think it's a white label promo. It doesn't say anything about being a promo on the label. There is a gold stamp on the back of the cover, though. That is the Twins soundtrack, a fun one to put on. Not necessarily, really deep music, but just something fun to put on and enjoy and relive the movie. And I do like soundtracks, so this one's going to be staying in the collection. Okay, the next thing I have to talk about is a band I hadn't heard of before. Found it sort of a blind buy for me. Picked this up in the dollar bin at the Gainesville Record Show, and that is the band Wax UK with their album American English. Looks like 1988 is the date on this one. And Wax UK is Andrew Gold and Graham Gouldman from 10cc. Sort of a late 80s kind of pop kind of thing, radio pop rock kind of thing. I thought I was really going to like this. I like the album artwork is really colorful and very 80s looking. I thought it was going to be more of a synth pop kind of thing. But unfortunately, it just kind of felt boring to me. Didn't really do much. Just kind of a straight ahead radio pop rock kind of sound. Not very interesting, just something neat to listen to once, but after that I was just not impressed with this at all. There's the insert with lyrics on it, or not the insert, but the inner sleeve, and they sort of use this classic RCA label with Nipper on it. So yeah, Wax UK was a disappointment to me. I think in the UK they were just called Wax. Some sort of trademark issue or something. They couldn't call themselves that in the US. But yeah, unfortunately, this is just disappointing for me. 80s pop rock kind of thing. It just doesn't really do anything interesting in my opinion. So this one is not staying in the collection. All right, next thing I have is a later album from the band Alphaville from 1989. This is titled The Breathtaking Blue. Of course, Alphaville is most known for their song Forever Young. And this is another one I was quite hopeful for. I thought it was going to be something I really liked, but again, just a later album. Doesn't seem like they're into it anymore. Just kind of went over your head, just kind of background noise. It's not really that interesting. So did not like this one at all. It is a gold stamp promo there, as you can see. There's the inner sleeve on this one. Got a custom Atlantic label for it. Alphaville, Breathtaking Blue, not staying in the collection. It just felt kind of like they just weren't into it. It's kind of, there's moments, but that it's not great either. There's moments that are good, but it's not great. So not going to be keeping this one. All right, next up I got an ECM jazz release here. This is from '84, I believe. This is Pat Metheny, Charlie Hayden, and Billy Higgins. And this is titled Rejoicing, again from 1984. As I said, I was really hopeful for this one. Being Pat Metheny, I thought it was going to be really cool, guitar-driven sort of fusion-y jazz kind of stuff. And it doesn't really get into the really good stuff until side 2. The first side is kind of boring, straight ahead, kind of boppy jazz kind of stuff. Just is not interesting at all to me. They're doing Ornette Coleman, Horace Silver, and Charlie Hayden songs on the first side. So it's kind of like them covering some jazz songs, and it's just not interesting at all. You don't actually get into any sort of Pat Metheny straight ahead stuff until side 2. That's more of the fusion-y jazz guitar stuff that Pat Metheny is known for, and it's definitely better on side 2. But overall, I was just not impressed with this album at all. So Another one that is not going to be staying in the collection. And there is that nice green ECM label. I guess all the ECMs can't be winners, but yeah, I was certainly disappointed in hearing this one. I don't know if I have a catalog number on this one, since this being a later album. ECM 1271 is the catalog number on that one. So yeah, it was another dollar pickup from the record show, and unfortunately not very good in my opinion, so I'm not going to be keeping this one around. Okay, last but not least, let's end this show on a high note. We have an album here from Dalbello, Lisa Dalbello. This is titled Human Forces, but it's spelled Who Man Forces. It's pronounced Human Forces. From 1984. If you're not familiar with Lisa Dalbello, she does all her own music. She writes her music. She plays a lot of the instruments. Just a killer musician, somebody who is way underrated in my opinion. I was blown away by this, how good this was. Very good sort of art pop kind of sound almost. Kind of ahead of its time, being 84. This sounds like, more of a mid-90s kind of sound in my opinion. Really good stuff. Loved this one to death. This was kind of like a blind buy for me. Another one from the Gainesville Record Show dollar bin. And I'm really glad I picked this one up. And Mick Ronson produced a bunch of stuff on here, and played some of the instruments as well, the ones that Lisa didn't play herself. So, high quality musicianship on here and really enjoyable stuff. So definitely say check out Dalbello's music if you can. And there is the Rainbow Capital label. Human Forces, Dalbello, definitely recommend this one. Check it out if you can. So that is going to do it for this episode of the Vinyl Survivor. I think 5 survived and 5 didn't, so kind of a mixed bag of things here, but hope you enjoyed the episode. Got, as I said, my June vinyl inbox will be coming real soon, and thank you for watching. Please subscribe, leave me a like, leave me some comments down below, and have a great day. See you next time. Cheers.